afternoon from a cold Johannesburg. For those that's still working, or for those that's got a long weekend?
Yeah, winter has arrived. Oh dear.
Oh dear, yes.
Oh gee.
Giving me
Sorry,
ball.
his ball's, he's given me his, there we go. He's got his ball back now. Now he'll squeak it a bit. Yeah, so today we decided, yeah, winter has definitely arrived. But we've only got like 2-3 days left of winter.
So you're the ultimate optimist, always.
So we decided today to do, because we don't know whether it's a holiday or not, because a lot of people took off today. So we don't know what that means. We don't know whether that means we're going to have more people online, live, or less. But in any case, we're planning to do a relatively short show. What we thought we would cover, we didn't want to put anything crucially newsworthy in it, primarily because there isn't anything crucially newsworthy right now. Surprise, the police have not yet issued a directive on how to handle the new licenses on expired licenses issue. So nobody knows yet whether you can give your firearm into the police or not.
Can I maybe quickly put the question then that somebody asked?
Sure, please do.
So Andrew Gillespie asked, what is the next legal step after they ignore the fidelity judgment and do nothing? So
remember how we've explained that there's no automatic agency in the law.
Yeah.
So for this, so people say, oh, but the green license was automatically overwritten by the white license. There ain't no such automatic. Nothing happens automatically. If you get a court order against somebody and that person fails to adhere to the court order, they don't automatically go to jail. Do not collect 200 Rand. You have to then take them back to court and ask the court now then to find them guilty of not obeying the, and then impose a sanction from there. Nothing happens automatically. It's a long, drawn-out process.
So you think this is going to go this way? Hope not.
I hope it won't. Because surely the police must be alive to the fact that they are now looking rather stupid again. Yeah, it's not a good look for them, really. Yeah. It just isn't. And then we have at the same time we hear that the Kwaggafontein police station was raided, and all the guns were stolen from there again. Police were held up.
Handguns, etc.
It's just pathetic.
They didn't say anything about amnesty firearms there, did they?
Well, we don't know that.
Yeah.
You see, we just don't know that. The police will not issue those that kind of information. But if there were guns held in the 13 store, you can be pretty certain they were also taken. So the police are the worst custodians of firearms in the country.
Yeah, we've always said so.
It's just crazy. Anyway, so we don't know, Andrew. We don't know what's going to happen. It's in the hands of the police. I see that Fidelity's attorney has written to the police this week and said to them, well, what do you plan to do, guys? But we now wait for the police to do or not do something. It's just silly.
Okay. Is there any other questions that come up? Not really, or do you want to cover some? All
right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through some of our frequently asked questions, because these damn things, we don't know how long your license is going to take.
That we can't tell you.
Yeah, that's the most frequently asked question.
I actually heard Hannes asked Sean, which is on leave today, saying, my license, I've just handed in my license, it's been 10 days, I haven't got an answer yet.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Dude, you would think he didn't work in this environment. Okay, so GOSA's got a whole bunch of information sheets which we published. And common misconceptions and stuff like that. Please go and download those. Keep one in the cubbyhole of your car. It really is important. Yeah. Stuff like hollow point ammunition is in fact legal. Just because the police don't carry it, they could if that was issued to them, but they don't.
No, they don't.
It's got nothing to do with the Geneva Convention. It's the Hague Convention of, God knows, sometime in the 19th century. That bans the use of expanding ammunition in declared conflicts. That was because of the ammunition from the Dum Dum arsenal which gave rise to the name Dum Dums for hollow points. The Dum Dum arsenal in India, where the guys would take a wire cutter and cut the tip off of the 303 bullets so that they would deform and mess people up. So that was banned under the Hague Convention for signatories in declared conflicts. Nothing to do with policing work.
Nothing to do with South Africa.
The police actually do issue hollow point ammunition to some of their special units, so it's got nothing to do with anything. But the plod next to the road is going to tell you that they're illegal because he wants money for the taxi too. You know, it's the rent seeking amongst the members of the SAPS is just staggering. Anyway, so also they'll also try and hit you up because you may be carrying with a loaded chamber, a one-up as it's called. It's perfectly legal. It might not be recommended for policemen who have a very casual relationship with firearm safety, but that's got nothing to do with anybody else. And as we now know as well, now the police have actually issued a directive on that. It doesn't matter what category your license is under, you can carry it as for self-defense. It's only storage where you have to, when your firearm is stored, that it has to, if it's not under Section 13, that it has to be unloaded. Without DSS, dedicated sports shooting or dedicated hunting status, you may own 200 rounds per license. Once you've got dedicated status, there's no limit for any of your firearms. There is no limit on magazine round counts.
We're not in the US in certain states.
Well, in certain states in the US, it's nuts, isn't it?
Exactly, 10
We
rounds.
have entire shooting sports that evolved around a 10-round magazine limit, because they want to they want to play their game in California, and California's got retarded gun laws, really.
Yeah.
Without dedicated status, you may own a maximum of 2 handguns. So one on Section 13, one on Section 15. If you want more than that, you got to do dedicated status Section 16.
Which is squeaking.
You can only own a total of 4. 99% of the time, if a firearm dealer stocks something, you're entitled to purchase and carry it. You're entitled to carry, although why anybody would, God only knows, you're entitled to carry tracer ammunition, which may be military surplus. You're entitled to carry armor-piercing ammunition, which may be military surplus. There's no prohibition on that. The only thing you're not allowed to carry is explosive ammunition. So ammunition where the bullet has got some kind of a charge which explodes. So stuff like armor-piercing incendiaries maybe not so cool, but you don't really get that in pistol calibers. It is legal, and we know it's illegal to carry Section 15 and 16 firearms of self-defense, because even the police have agreed to that. They've even issued a directive to that effect. So I'm now going to read a bit more detail on this information. So from Section 1684 of the Firearms Control Act, carrying of firearms in public places. No person may carry a firearm in a public place unless it is carried in the case of a handgun in a holster or similar holder designed, manufactured or adapted for the carrying of a handgun and attached to his or her person. So no Mexican carry, no stuffing the pistol in your waistband of your jockeys. Not a great way to carry a firearm. Or in a rucksack or similar holder. So you can carry it in a bag, you can carry it in a briefcase.
And if you've done your knowledge of the Firearms Control Act, you should know that.
Yeah, exactly, you should know that. In the case of any other firearm, in a holder designed, manufactured or adapted for the carrying of the firearm. So your long gun, your hunting rifle, your semi-auto, whatever, if it's in a gun bag, it's good. Okay, so that's carrying of a firearm in a public place. Now, we had a case in the last week where somebody was harassed. They had their hunting rifle in the back seat of their car covered with a blanket. and the police stop them in a roadblock. What are you doing? Oh, you can't do that. It's got to be rubbish. Tell the policeman to go and pound sand. What they do say is the firearm contemplated, the handgun or the long gun, must be completely covered, and the person must be able to exercise effective control over the firearm. So now it doesn't have to be concealed. Of course, it's far better for it to be concealed. In the case of a long gun, that's kind of difficult, because even though it's in a bag, you can still see it's a long gun. In 99% of the cases, but it doesn't have to be concealed. It merely has to be covered. So although it's not a cool idea to be out there in your skin tight gym shorts with your wife beater t-shirt on and a firearm in your waistband that's printing like so that you can read the serial number through your shirt.
Sorry, Paul.
Although that's legal, it's just not a...
The image is kind of not giving up tonight. Sorry.
It's just not a very good idea, guys. Think about it.
Sorry.
There's very few defences against a half brick to the back of the head. So you can get your firearm taken off you. You're making yourself a target. Don't do it. Silly. If you carry your firearm in public, you cover it in a holster. Do not open carry. Nobody can open carry. So except for police in full uniform, not in mufti or in civvies. If they're in civvies, they've got to carry concealed. In fact, the police are not going to carry covered. The police have to carry concealed. Okay, if they're not in uniform. If they're in uniform, they can carry it in a uniform holster. Security guards on duty, same thing.
Same thing, yeah.
Except a lot of security guards operate as close protection, etc., and they operate in civvies. If they're operating in civvies, not in uniform, they have to be concealed. We had a case, 2 weeks ago, of some other political gathering, political party event, and the guys were trotting around there in their t-shirts and jeans and ARs. Don't do that, guys. It's stupid. You're breaking the law. It's not legal. Stop it. If they're in security guards in uniform, I believe, if I'm not, it sticks in my mind, that they have to have the security company's name or logo in 3 obvious visible places on the outside of the uniform, on the outside of the clothes they're wearing. So they can have a t-shirt, but it must have the security company logo, in 3 places, I believe. I'm not 100% certain on that, but typically I think I am right. All right, so and as I said, as per this directive, we know that carrying of section 15, 16, and 17 firearms for self-defense is perfectly legal. Because of the lawful use clauses in each of the sections.
Urge.
Yeah. So we've done hollow points. That's done. All right. GOSA's recommendation on carry methods.
That's mine.
Leave the dog alone. GOSA endorses and recommends the method of carrying one up, also known as carrying with a round in the chamber, quite simply because it's legal. You don't have the time. When there's an attack, a dynamic critical incident, you don't have the time to be racking your slide. So-called Israeli carry is stupid, and people shouldn't do it.
We know something.
We know. Strangely enough, a gentleman from the Jewish community that was shot in his house, whilst he was trying to rack his slide because he was carrying.
He had his gun on him,
empty chamber.
And it's safe action pistols. If you look at the Glock, there's 3 safeties.
The damn things are safe. Unless it's something from 19 sack that's dodgy. A high point or something like that, which you don't really get that much of in South Africa. Carry the damn thing loaded. It's designed to be carried loaded.
Not in a bag that can snag stuff. Make sure that the trigger guard
as the trigger guard is covered you're good. But ensure that your firearm is safe to carry with a chambered round.
Yeah.
this is what we talk about. There must be some kind of a hard holster that actually covers the trigger guard. Plastic or hard leather. I mean, not so keen on leather anymore because it gets soft and it falls into the trigger guards and can cause trouble. But Kydex, all the modern holsters are great for it. And it must be for your firearm, not for another firearm. Because typically they're designed for a particular model of firearm. Using another firearm's holster, and just because you could actually ease the gun into it, doesn't mean that it's going to retain the firearm if you have to run or move quickly. Doesn't mean that it's going to prevent the trigger being activated. So don't do that, guys. That's basically that. Yeah, some of the older types of safeties aren't particularly safe, but it's most modern firearms. Look, most modern firearms are safe. That you're not going to tire the springs out by carrying it loaded. The springs are designed to operate within what's called an elastic limit. And if you don't exceed the elastic limit, in other words, if you don't stretch the spring beyond the length it's supposed to be, if you don't squash it beyond the length it's supposed to be, that's exceeding the elastic limits. If you don't do that, you're not going to hurt the spring. Magazine springs in pistols can last for decades fully loaded, without going soft. Don't fuss about things that you don't have to fuss about. All right, the green licenses.
I just wanted to ask you. So, Paul, is green licenses legal? Or should I just not?
So we're aware of even some people that should know better, that do know better, but that are inclined to state the opposite because a policeman has told them different. Okay, so we have an interesting story. Did I tell the story last week about the old gent in
yes, you did.
Okay. So the fact of the matter is, all old licenses, permits, or authorizations are still perfectly valid. Judge Prinsloo, when he made the order in 2009, he gives so I've actually had orders granted by Judge Prinsloo, and what stands out is he gives the order live in court. He listens to the argument during the day, he sums it up, and he gives the order live in court. And he is frigging meticulous. He's retired now, I think. But he is precise and meticulous. He doesn't let anything get by him. So when he made the order, he didn't, oops, I forgot to mention that white licenses invalidate green licenses. He didn't do that. He said all licenses and it also, in the full judgment, not just that single page order which is floating around, in the full judgment, which is on the GOSA Facebook group if you want to look it up, it was missing for many years, which I think caused a lot of the confusion. We unearthed it and we placed it on the Facebook group. In any case, in the full order, he actually talks about people that have had green licenses, got white licenses, and then the white licenses expired. The green license is still valid, perfectly valid. There's no impediment to that whatsoever. I do note that the South African Police Services, with their customary regard for law and order, have somehow mysteriously started loading people's green licenses where they've never applied for a white license, loading them onto the enhanced firearms management system, which is the white license system. Yeah. They've started loading the white licenses onto the enhanced firearms management system. The green licenses onto the enhanced. Sorry, guys, it's Friday afternoon. They've started loading them on and noting that they're Section 13. So now there's a whole bunch of folk out there that have got hunting rifles on Section 13. Everything goes on Section 13. And the obvious intention behind this is to try to limit the license holder's ability to license more firearms under the Firearms Control Act, when they already have licenses under the Arms and Ammunition
You
Act.
can't do that.
And that's, again, guys, geez, you know, the number of times we have to drag the police kicking and screaming to court in order to force them to obey the law. It's ridiculous. Guys, stop trying to get through the back door what you can't get through the front door.
Yeah.
Please, police, all of you out there, stop trying to sneak stuff in the back door. Anyway, so green card licenses. You can buy ammunition on it. You can do whatever. If you go into a shop and they don't want to sell you ammunition on a green license,
somewhere else.
Go to another shop. Exercise your right to shop elsewhere. Exercise your right not to patronize those people ever again. It's what happens when you're stupid. It must hurt. You're still subject to all, by the way, if you have a green license, you're still subject to all the other regulations under the Firearms Control Act. You just don't have the ability, you just don't have to have renew your license, etc., etc. We believe the police are going to try to overturn or to challenge the 2009 order. They may even get it right. I don't see how they can, because their time has so far elapsed. You know, there's 13 years in between the orders now.
And administratively, they can't handle it now. They really just can't handle it.
But that hasn't stopped them before, has it?
No.
You know, so we'll see. You know, don't put it past the police to snatch an opportunity to make themselves look stupid again. So storage permits, another question. What do you need for a storage permit? If you want to store a firearm, what do you need? All you need is a firearm licensed in your name. You don't need if your mate's got a hunting rifle and you've got a safe that can handle a hunting rifle, but you've only got a handgun license, you can store his hunting rifle in your safe with a storage permit. It doesn't have to be for the same class of firearm. It just has to be a license for a firearm. You don't have to have, you can have green license firearms. You don't even have to have competence. All you need is a license, and you can store the firearms. Okay. So what you need is, as I said, you need a storage permit from the police. That's an SAP 539, which you can get off of the SAPS.gov's website. I believe you can get it in our Facebook group's file section. But you can store the firearm. You can't fiddle with it. It gets put in the safe by the owner or by Ram couriers or whoever. They put the gun in the safe. You don't have permission to touch it. You don't have permission to take it out and clean it. You don't have permission to show it to your mates at the braai. It's for storage purposes only. You certainly don't have permission to take it to the range or take it anywhere. You don't have a transporter's permit. You have a storage permit. Okay, estate firearms. The bane of everyone's life is estate firearms. If the firearm is licensed at the time the owner expires, the firearms license is good. It stays good. If the firearm license expires before the guy expires, you got a problem. That's an unlicensed firearm. You can't. Thank you, Uji. Uji's just emphasizing the point. Okay, so if the firearm has become unlicensed, or the firearm license, remember when the guy dies, everything stops. It goes into suspended animation. The license that he currently has is frozen. It doesn't tick down. You can at that time you can do whatever you like. Well, the executive of the estate controls that firearm, and he can do whatever he likes. He just put the ball into the back of the gas heater. He's quite cunning. Anyway, so the executive of the estate has the right to sign a 271 as the owner of the firearm, to let somebody else license the firearm. He can arrange for storage. It doesn't have to be surrendered to the police. It does not have to be surrendered to the police. You can arrange private storage. The executor can arrange private storage. If the executor has safekeeping facilities and he has a licensed firearm himself, he can store the firearms.
But most of the time, they can come to the to a dealer. The executor fills in a SAPS 534, and then the dealer can.
So even more simple. If there's a surviving spouse, and in the property that the guy lived in or the lady lived in, and the firearm, the safe storage is at the premises, they can leave it in the safe, but the executor takes the keys. If the executor has the keys for the safe, and only the executor has the keys for the safe, it's perfectly legal to leave the firearms in the house where the deceased person used to live.
And then the new person
and you can. So there's no panic. There's nothing has to happen quickly or automatically. It can take many years. In fact, the number of years isn't specified in the Act. The executor or the whoever inherits the firearm can take years to license the firearm in their own name, or sell it, or do whatever. It's not prescribed in the law. In the proposed new amendment bill, they have put time periods in for that, but that's not a law. That's somebody's brain fart, and we doubt whether it's going to see the light of day. So don't fuss about that, guys. Nothing happens quickly. You don't have to, oh God, you're going to get rid of the guns. You don't have to get rid of the guns. If the police come and say, listen, we want to take the guns, you tell them, do me a favor, turn around and go away. Or I'll call security and escort you from the premises. All right. So there has to be an executor, by the way, for every estate in the country. Even if you die intestate and you've got no money, there will still be an executor appointed by the court, by the Master of the Supreme Court, Master of the High Court. And the executor that can then decide to sell, destroy, whatever. If you can then buy it from the executor, and if you want to buy it from the executor, you need a certified copy of the deceased's ID, a certified copy of the deceased's license, a certified copy of the will or a letter from the executor stating that the firearm has been sold or gifted to you, and a certified copy of the executor's ID. And you need a SAPS 271, the application form, signed by the executor. And then you've got to do your whole motivation, etc., etc., etc. That's it, guys. It's actually, although it's a pain in the ass, firearms in deceased estates, it's actually quite simple. It's not a insurmountable mountain. It's not something that you can't do. It's actually quite simple. And please, guys, don't let the banks be the executors of your estates. The first thing that the bank does is it calls in one of the large firearms storage companies, and they start charging you like a judiciary. And sometimes the estate firearms are not expensive. They're not worth that much. But by the time the bloody duties have gone on from the bank, because remember the bank makes money out of being executor, and out of the storage facility. By the time that money's gone onto it, you know, a 5,000 Rand revolver might have 10,000 Rands worth of storage costs. I've dealt with quite a couple in Tax Shack, and it's mostly the farms are not worth monetary a lot in terms of money a lot, but it might be a Pagriki's firearm that comes through the flippin' whatever, and people have sentimental attachment to it. So obviously then 100%. That's where it comes from. Are there any more questions?
Anne's going to send the questions from the live stream now.
Oh, we've got some questions. Yay, there's somebody listening to us. And
I can maybe in the meantime, while I'm just getting into there, I can just say thank you from...
One thing at a time.
Okay, so it says here, Mike has asked, do you have to tell a police officer about your firearm if he asks if you are armed? Do you only have to tell him if they ask you if you have a firearm specifically?
No, what if you know, that's being disingenuous. That's dancing around the point. If he asks you if you're armed, or if he asks you if you've got a firearm, you have to declare it to him.
Yeah, I have to.
You know, if he says to you, do you have anything to declare? Asking somebody if they have anything to declare is asking if, I had 2 drinks at the party and I don't think I'm over the limit though. That's declaring something. That's something that you might be guilty of. Carrying a firearm is not something which you have to declare. It's not something which you're guilty of. So if he asks you if you've got anything to declare, you say to him, no, you're not doing anything wrong. I haven't just had a 6-pack. I've got nothing to declare. If he asks you if you're armed or if you have a weapon on you, you must tell him. If that happens, the first thing you should do is you should take out your license and show the officer your license so that he can see your face on it, your ID number on it, and he can see the license's serial number on it, the firearm serial number on it. If you're able to, then you should safely draw your fire. Tell him what you're doing. Don't do anything quickly or that he can't see, because you're going to get yourself shot. If he says to you he wants to see the firearm, you say to him, okay, my firearm is on my right hand side in a holster. I'm going to take my firearm out of the holster. I'm going to make it safe, and then I'm going to show you the serial number. And then you do exactly that. Keep it pointed in a safe direction. Your car's engine block is a pretty safe direction, although you might not end up driving away if you have an 80, but that's your problem. Take the firearm out of your holster, show him that you're taking the magazine out, put it on the dashboard, eject the round from the chamber, put that on the dashboard too, leave the slide locked back, and show the officer the serial number. If you can avoid giving the firearm to the officer, that's better. Because we know lots of people that give firearms to the police, and then the police wanting bloody bribes and Kentucky and stuff like that, you never get the firearm back. There was a case just recently, yesterday as a matter of fact, where somebody called us with a problem. They were asked about a firearm at a roadblock. They handed the firearm to the police, and then the police said, well, where's the license? He said, well, here's my license which is expired, and here's my receipt for the new license. And the cop said, no, we don't do that shit here. We're confiscating the firearm now.
Then you phone GOSA law.
Well, no, you don't. We don't want to know about it. You drive to the police station and you lay a charge of armed robbery against the policeman.
Because that is armed robbery.
Because that's armed robbery. He's used force to take your firearm off you. Anyway, but so yeah. If I sound anti-police, I'm really, really not. I'm anti all of the criminal crap that the South African police get away with.
Yeah.
Anyway, anything else?
I don't think so. I think that was the question.
Well, 2 questions, Andrew and Mike.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything else. Nope. That's it. So then I'll just say, I actually just want to say from Girls on Fire.
Well, we've been going for more than half an hour.
Wow.
Wow.
From Burnout Agencies, to thank Burnout Agencies.
Yeah.
Actually, absolutely wonderful thing that they've done for all my range officers that's been helping with the Girls on Fire.
That's the Glock Armourers courses that they've sponsored for the lady or range
and
officers.
we're going to have 24 ladies in total at the end.
24.
So we've got 6 that's completed it. Then we've got some another
couple of sessions.
3 sessions of 6 each. So full day calls. They give us lunch. It was one of the best experiences I've had for a long time. I've learned such a lot.
So the nice thing about that is it's a way that GOSA and Girls on Fire is giving back to the people that help us. So it's for the lady range officers at the events. They've now Burnout Agencies has offered to give them the Glock Armourers course, which is an international course, Glock course, comes with a certificate from Glock, etc., etc. And it's not that we want every lady to become a Glock armourer, but it's the confidence that instills. It's the knowledge that's transferred with actually knowing that you now have the skill and the knowledge to take a pistol apart into it, every little spring and pin, and put it back together. That's also important.
Very important.
So the confidence that comes with that is great. It's really, really great.
So Carol, that actually gives the courses to us, has specifically looked at what can go wrong with weapons on the range.
Yeah.
What do you need to look for? How do you do?
Carol.
Kale.
Oh, Kale. I thought you said Carol. He looks a little bit dodge, so you never know.
So he
You don't know what
says,
you don't know what the preferred pronoun is.
So in any case, he looked at, but you can have a look at what problems can you have with a gun on the range and how to fix it and how to problem solve it. So absolutely awesome course. I thank you very much to them for doing that for us. Great, that's it I think. Have a fantastic weekend.
Yep. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Yes.
This was a short week. This morning it was Monday still.
Yes, it did
Now
feel like
it's about to become Friday.
Yes. Cheers guys.
Cheers guys.
Thank you.
Scrappy, the Land Rover has lots of friends. Come play with us, the fun never ends. We're gun buddies, we learn gun safety. It's fun and easy, just like 1, 2, 3. If you see a gun, you shouldn't be afraid. You're a gun buddy and you'll be okay.